Revealed, she was forced to wash dishes at a party, but her amazing millionaire husband owned it. Rachel stood in the kitchen, her heart pounding as she watched the glimmering lights of Nathan's extravagant charity gala through the service entrance. The mansion was filled with laughter and clinking glasses, a stark contrast to the chaos of grease and suds that enveloped her. With each plate she scrubbed, she felt the weight of the old apron around her waist, the scent of soap mixing with the familiar sense of the cafe she had worked in for years. How had she drifted so far from the little girl dreaming of a better life? As she elbowed deep in soapy water, a flash of a life she yearned for filled her mind. She thought of her spirited 8-year-old daughter, Lily, whose laughter was always a balm for her weary spirit. But tonight, the echoes of laughter outside cut deeper than usual. They felt like a reminder of where she didn't belong. She pushed back tears, refusing to let them stain her cheeks, and then Mia walked in. Rachel's old friend, with a smile that once brought comfort but now felt loaded with judgment as their eyes met. "Rachel, is this what you've become?" Her tone, laced with pity, sent a stab through Rachel's heart. It was a simple question, but the weight of it hung heavy in the air. The memories flooded back the days they hustled together, sharing dreams of success while working odd jobs to scrape by. Voices escalated, and without meaning to, Rachel bristled. "You think I chose this?" She snapped, the words shooting out like daggers. "You don't know the sacrifices I've made for my daughter." The tension thickened like fog, swelling around them like an undisclosed secret about the life they once shared. Rachel's heart raced, undeniable shame tangled with anger and pride. But the night was just beginning. Nathan caught wind of the ruckus and, despite the chaos brewing in the kitchen, made his way toward her with that charming smile. "Rachel?" he called, concern sketching his brows. Time froze for a heartbeat. She felt a tug toward him, wrapped around the warmth that was her lifeline yet. His existence felt as distant as the galaxy. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Rachel plastered a forced smile on her face, masking the confusion swirling inside her. Nathan stepped closer, and the familiar warmth she adored flickered between them. "Everything all right?" he asked, his voice soothing yet fraught with unspoken tension. Then, in an unexpected moment, Nathan turned his gaze toward the gathering outside. The room quieted, all eyes on him. With a full heart, he raised his glass and began to speak. "Tonight isn't just about us," he said, gesturing toward Rachel in the chaos. "It's about honoring the woman who's given everything for our family." Every word he said felt like a melody entwined with hope. As applause broke through the room, Rachel's breath caught in her throat. She stood there, overwhelmed, her tears, a cocktail of pride and pain. Nathan's love was evident. Still, the feeling of being an outsider shadowed her heart. With echoes of cheers resounding around her, Rachel faced the divided world that loomed larger than her emotions. Could she really bridge that gap? Just as doubts palpitated within her, she locked eyes with Nathan, and in that moment, a storm surged inside her, leaving one haunting question. Could love truly conquer the vast chasm between their lives? Rachel felt the world around her blur as the applause faded into the background, pulling her focus straight to Nathan's warm gaze. His eyes sparkled with pride, but hidden beneath was a hint of concern. Was he beginning to understand the battles she fought daily? The clamor from the gathering grew, a reminder of all the people who seemed to cherish her sacrifices while she felt lost in their celebration. She gulped, trying to steady herself. Her hands, still slick with dishwater, trembled slightly as Nathan approached her. "You deserve every bit of that recognition, Rachel," he whispered, leaning close. The moment felt electric, yet it also expanded the space between them. "Do I?" she questioned, her voice barely above a whisper. "Do I really, when I'm stuck back here washing dishes?" Pain laced each word, spilling from the cracks in her heart that had formed over years of struggle. Nathan studied her, and for a second, She saw the man she had first fallen in love with, the man who saw her strength, her dreams. "This doesn't define you," he replied, determination edging his tone. "You're so much more than what you're doing right now." Those words cut deeper than she expected. A bitter laugh escaped her lips. "But this is my reality, Nathan. I traded dreams for a paycheck, for a chance to give Lily a life." Suddenly, the wash of dishes felt like shackles rather than an obligation, chaining her to the dreams that slipped through her fingers. Mia's disapproving presence hung heavy in the kitchen, looming like a specter of Rachel's past. The judgment in her eyes ripped open old wounds, and Rachel couldn't bear the thought of facing that scrutinizing gaze any longer. "I'm tired of trying to prove myself to everyone," she confessed, her voice cracking. Nathan's expression softened. "You're not trying to prove anything to anyone but yourself," he stated, his conviction fortifying her spirit. The way he looked at her now stirred something deep inside, a longing not just to bridge the chasm, but to leap over it entirely. But how? The thought seemed as complex as the mansion's sprawling architecture. As the crowd outside erupted into joyous laughter, Rachel felt torn. She wanted to feel that joy, to share in the happiness of the family they created. A wave of guilt rushed over her. Could she ever fully immerse herself in that world? Would it always feel out of reach? "Let us step outside," Nathan suggested, his voice a warm embrace amidst the clatter of glassware. "You need to hear what everyone has been saying." Rachel hesitated, anxiety gripping her heart. She wasn't ready to face the crowd, not when she still felt like a fish out of water. But Nathan's hand gently grasped hers, grounding her. "I won't let you face this alone," he assured her. With a deep breath, she nodded, and together they stepped into the spotlight. As she crossed the threshold, the sounds of the gala enveloped her, a world of elegance and wealth she had never truly belonged to. Yet, as Nathan's hand held hers, a flicker of courage ignited within her. The murmurs of guests hushed as Nathan raised his glass once more, turning toward her. "Tonight, I want to introduce you to the woman whose strength amazed me every single day. Rachel, my partner in life and love," he declared, his voice booming. Every eye in the room shifted toward her, anticipation thickening the air. Rachel felt her pulse quicken. Maybe, just maybe, there was a chance to redefine her worth, to show that she could navigate the wild world of wealth while still holding onto her roots. But just as excitement surged, a voice from the crowd pierced through her thoughts, laden with skepticism. "And what about her past, Nathan? Is that worth celebrating?" The question hung heavily between them, sparking a new fear of judgment, a fear that could unravel everything she had built in silence. What would she say? How would she answer? Rachel's mind raced, and her heart thudded painfully. Could this moment forge a new path for her, or was it a step too far? She took a deep breath, feeling the eyes of every rich and glamorous person drilling into her. With an unexpected burst of determination, she stepped forward, ready to confront the harsh realities of her life and the truth she'd hidden from even herself. What would she say to bridge the gap between her past and the life she wished to embrace? Rachel's heart raced as the weight of 100 eyes bore down on her. She could feel Nathan's support beside her, but the question that echoed in the hall felt like chains binding her to memories she wanted to escape. Her past was messy, complicated, and in that moment, it loomed larger than life itself. "About my past," she started, trying to find her voice through the tumult of shame and pride. "It shaped me, yes, but it doesn't define me." The moment hung in the air, a mix of unease and curiosity simmering among the guests. "Do you ever feel like that?" She directed her question to the crowd, hoping to connect with them. "Like pieces of yourself are scattered, fighting for a chance to be whole again." Some guests shifted, intrigued. Others frowned, not prepared for such honesty. Nathan stepped closer, his presence a gentle reminder that she wasn't alone. "You are brave, Rachel," he murmured, urging her forward just as much as she needed it. Rachel took a deep breath, fists clenching at her sides. "I spent years washing dishes and cleaning houses to give my daughter a better life," she continued, her voice gaining strength. "It was hard, but every long hour at work pushed me to dream bigger." The doubt in the crowd began to waver, replaced by a flicker of understanding. Rachel's honesty was raw, and it resonated. "My past is filled with sacrifice, but it's also filled with hope. She smiled then, a genuine light breaking through the shadows. And that hope led me to Nathan, the love of my life. There was a collective intake of breath. She could see whispers ripple through the crowd, softening their once critical gazes. Just like that, she had opened the door to connection. And I won't let anyone diminish what I've built or who I am now. The energy shifted. She felt it in her bones. Sure, I've washed dishes, but I've also been the one who fights for dreams. I refused to feel ashamed of my journey. The applause that erupted startled her, but it was more than just the clapping hands. It was the release of tension both in her and within the crowd. She searched for Nathan among the sea of faces. His proud smile gave her the strength to stand tall. From now on, I choose to embrace who I am. All of me, she declared boldly. I am Rachel, a survivor, a mother, and a partner. I am proud of my story, and I'll continue to write it with every challenge I face. As she finished, the atmosphere buzzed with a new energy, one of acceptance. The question that once threatened to drown her now became a stepping stone towards something more significant, a connection to everyone present, united in their struggles and celebrations. Yet amid the applause, Rachel noticed Mia's eyes narrow. The tension was palpable. Was this the last she would see of the disapproval that had shadowed her journey? Suddenly, Mia moved through the crowd, her expression unreadable. Rachel's heart dropped as she approached. This could go one way or the other, and the uncertainty clawed at her once more. Rachel began, but the other woman held up a hand to silence her, the anticipation in the room thickening like fog. Let us talk outside, Mia said, her voice steady but unnerving, leaving everyone in stunned silence. Rachel's heart raced as she exchanged glances with Nathan. What would Mia say? Would this conversation heal or reveal more wounds? As she began to follow Mia, she realized the path she chose tonight opened doors she never expected, but might also lead to confrontations yet to come. The unknown awaited her. Would she have the strength to face it? Mia stepped outside, the autumn air brisk against Rachel's skin. The chill distracted her momentarily from her swirling thoughts. She could hear the muffled voices of the crowd inside. Laughter, applause. It was alive with energy. Yet here she stood, on the precipice of confrontation with the very person who represented the complicated shadows of her past. Mia, wait. Rachel caught up, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't mean to disrupt anything. Disrupt? Mia interrupted, her tone sharp. You opened up something real in there. But did you do it just to show off? Or do you really mean it? Rachel blinked, the weight of Mia's words striking her like a punch. I opened up because I'm tired of hiding, she managed to say, her heart pounding in her chest. I don't want to feel ashamed anymore. Mia crossed her arms, assessing her with narrowed eyes that searched deep for honesty. You think it's that easy? Just declaring who you are? You're presenting this fairy tale idea of yourself, and you don't realize others see it differently. They want to know the truth. Rachel took a breath, trying to collect her scattered thoughts. The truth is that I worked hard. I fought through every obstacle to build a good life. It's not just a story, it's my reality. Mia stepped closer, her face softening just a fraction. I see that you're trying to rise above the hurt. But it's not just about you. You've brought your past into this new light, but forgotten the weight it bears on others. Think of what they expect of what your past still means to them. I can't control their expectations. Rachel shot back, frustration bubbling over. All I can control is me, and I refuse to let the past dictate how my future looks. Silence hung between them, thick with tension. Rachel could see the flicker of understanding in Mia's eyes, but didn't know if it was enough. The chasm between them felt insurmountable, deepened by unsaid words and judgment. Do you really believe that? Mia asked quietly. Do you believe in this new you? Rachel's heart tripped. She had no idea how to fully embrace that new identity. I want to. I do, but I'm scared. What if it's not enough? The vulnerability hung in the air. Mia's expression shifted, moments of compassion breaking through her guarded demeanor. I've misjudged you, Rachel. You're stronger than I thought. Just remember, strength isn't always about standing tall. Sometimes it's about how you interact with your past. Rachel nodded slowly, her emotions a tempest within her. Was she really ready to face what Mia represented? Not just the past, but the ties that still bound her to it? As she opened her mouth to speak, the door swung open behind them, and Nathan stepped out. He looked between the two women, concern etched on his face. Rachel felt the safety of his presence. He had supported her through it all, and yet here they were, caught in an emotional standoff. "Mia, maybe we can talk about this later," Nathan suggested, sensing the tension in the air. "You both deserve to be heard, but right now, the night is still young." Rachel exchanged a glance with Nathan, her mind racing. Was it enough to just dismiss the conversation for now? Would she have to face Mia again, unprepared and still battling the shadows of her past? Fine. Mia relented, but her gaze lingered on Rachel. "But this isn't over. You need to show them who you really are, not just in words." As Mia walked away, Rachel felt a hollow echo inside her. What would it take to move beyond just words? Because the truth loomed, a challenge she wasn't quite prepared to face. Nathan wrapped an arm around her shoulders, offering comfort. "You did amazing in there," he said gently. "Whatever comes next, we'll handle it together. I believe in you." Rachel forced a smile, but felt her pulse race again. The spotlight had shifted, but the battle wasn't finished. Would she find the courage to face Mia again? And could she truly embrace all the pieces of herself without hesitation? The unknown awaited her once more, heavy with possibilities. Rachel swallowed against the rising fear. This wasn't simply about acceptance, it was about transformation. What would she need to confront next to write her own story? Rachel stood there for a moment, the sounds of laughter and warmth from inside contrasting sharply with the chilly solitude of the night. Nathan's presence was a balm, but it couldn't fully soothe the storm brewing within her. She felt like an imposter, teetering on the edge of her newly claimed identity while the past clung to her like a stubborn shadow. "Are you okay?" Nathan's voice brought her back, his concern reflected in the gentle way he held her, almost as if ready to catch her if she fell. "I'm trying to be," she admitted, turning her head to meet his caring gaze. She hesitated, searching for the right words. "I feel like I'm standing on a cliff, Nathan. If I step forward, I might just fall into the abyss." He squeezed her shoulders, holding her steady. "You're stronger than you think, Rachel. It's okay to feel scared. It means you care about what comes next. But you aren't alone in this. We'll take those steps together." Rachel's heart warmed at his words, yet Mia's piercing gaze lingered in her mind. What if I mess up? What if I show my true self, and it's not enough for anybody? What if it's just a failure? Nathan let out a soft breath, contemplating her fears. Failure isn't the worst thing. Embracing who you are is. That simple truth settled over her like a soft blanket. "I know I want to be honest, but I still feel so much shame." "Shame from what?" "What others say. You've worked hard for everything you have now. You're not defined by past mistakes," he reminded her softly. "You define you." Rachel nodded slowly, a surge of fight igniting within her. Maybe this wasn't about pleasing anyone else. Maybe it was about finally stepping into the light, despite the shadows that chased her. "I just want to be seen for who I am. I'm tired of hiding," she declared, the weight of her own voice surprising her, echoing with a new kind of certainty. Nathan smiled, a bright light that pierced her insecurities. "Then let us go back in there. Let's show them who you've become. This isn't just about Mia. It's about everyone, even the skeptics. They deserve to see the real you." Before she could second-guess herself, he gently pulled her towards the door again. As the threshold loomed closer, Rachel felt her heart race, a mixture of nerves and excitement pulling at her insides. The world inside felt alive and inviting, but reality was also daunting. What if they reject me? What if they don't understand? They will, he insisted. Not everyone will get it, but who we are doesn't rely on their approval. Remember, it's only about what you think of yourself. With Nathan at her side, Rachel stepped inside. The vibrant colors of laughter swirled around them, yet she felt an undeniable anxiousness hanging in the air, waiting for her to make her move. Faces turned toward her, moments of surprise flickering across the crowd. As voices rose in cheer for Nathan, a familiar knot twisted in Rachel's stomach. She spotted Mia standing off to the side, arms crossed, observing intently. The realization that the night was far from over hit her hard. This would be a battle, not just with her past, but against every whisper of doubt that threatened to rise. Taking a breath, she built the courage to address the crowd. "I know I might not be what you all expected," a gentle nudge from Nathan encouraged her. She took a step closer to the center of the room, swallowing her fear. She had come too far to turn back. But something within her hesitated. What if they didn't accept her? What if her vulnerability opened the floodgates to judgment? Rachel noticed Mia moving from her spot, determination etched on her face. This was it, the moment of truth. Would Rachel finally break free from her insecurities, or would fear keep her locked in the shadows forever? Rachel took a deep breath, steadying herself as Mia closed the gap between them. The room faded into the background, and the air grew thick with anticipation. Rachel's gaze was fixed on her old friend, the one person who had seen her at her lowest. Would they really move beyond their past? Mia stopped a mere foot away, her expression unreadable. So, you've decided to show your face, Mia said, a hint of snideness creeping into her voice. The crowd hushed, sensing the tension brewing. Rachel's heart pounded as all eyes fell on her. This was the moment she had feared, but also longed for. She couldn't let Mia's judgment snuff out her newfound courage. I'm not the same person I was. I'm here to be real with you and with myself, Rachel replied, her voice stronger than she felt. Mia's lips twitched slightly, but it wasn't a smile of kindness. Are you, though? Or is this just another version of the performance you've been putting on? Rachel clenched her fists, gathering her thoughts. Nathan's reassuring presence loomed just behind her. I'm not performing. I want everyone to see who I truly am. I've spent too long hiding. Mia laughed softly, but it was devoid of warmth. That's cute, Rachel. But what makes you think anyone is dying to see the real you? With every word from Mia, Rachel could feel the shadows creeping in. She was stuck in the spotlight, and doubt threatened to engulf her. Would this then be a showcase of her vulnerabilities, or just a stage for Mia's cruel reflections? Rachel's mind raced. She finally understood now that Mia's cruelty stemmed from her own insecurities. She wanted to address the entire room, to strip away the layers of expectation and fear. I might not be perfect, she called out into the crowd, but I'm here, and I'm trying to embrace my flaws. I'm not ashamed anymore. The crowd's reaction was instant. Gasps and murmurs spread like wildfire, some in support, others confused. She caught Nathan's encouraging smile at the corner of her eye, fortifying her resolve. Mia's expression hardened. So, you think being all vulnerable and emotional is going to win everyone over? You're still just a wannabe, she snapped. Rachel stepped forward, her heart pounding fiercely. Why are you so bitter? I'm trying to show realness, to let go of the past we shared. Can't we all just move forward? Every second felt like an eternity as the crowd waited for Mia's reply. Rachel sensed the shift in the room. She could feel people beginning to shift their loyalties, some nodding along as if finally understanding. Mia stood still, the flush of anger washing over her face. Her eyes darted about, looking for the support of their old friends. But as she glanced around the room, Rachel saw uncertainty flicker across Mia's face, and it scared her. Was she losing control? That's the problem, Rachel, Mia shot back, shaking her head. You want to move forward, but you're rooted in your insecurities. I'm not perfect, but I'm real, and that's what matters now, Rachel replied, her fear morphing into defiance. In that moment, a spark lit in the room, and she could see glimmers of understanding and acceptance from some of her audience. This could be the turning point, not only for herself, but for others who felt as trapped as she once had. As Mia opened her mouth to retort again, Rachel felt a weight lift, realizing that she didn't need Mia's approval anymore. This time, she wouldn't let fear keep her quiet, but before Mia could respond, the sound of glass shattering caught everyone's attention. Rachel turned just in time to see Nathan slip, his hands fumbling as he tried to save a tray of drinks. In the chaos, her moment of clarity was interrupted. All eyes shifted to the growing mess, and Rachel felt her opportunity slip away. Would she regain her footing after this? Would people still see her strength amid the spillage? The room buzzed with a cacophony of laughter and gasps, leaving Rachel questioning what would come next. She had taken a courageous step forward, but now would it all come crashing down around her? As the laughter erupted around her, Rachel's heart sank. She felt the spotlight flicker away, consumed by the splatter of broken glass and spilled liquid. Nathan's embarrassed face flashed in her mind, and guilt pricked at her. It was his support that had buoyed her moments ago, Now, the tables had turned, and she felt herself sinking. Just great, she muttered under her breath, glancing at Mia, who watched the chaos unfold with what seemed like a smirk. Perfect timing, Rachel thought bitterly. Without realizing it, she had stepped back, letting fear reclaim its hold. Nathan scrambled to his feet, cheeks red, but a determined grin spread across his face. "Don't worry. I got it." He started gathering the shards of glass, wearing that infectious smile that had drawn Rachel to him in the first place. But Rachel couldn't focus on him anymore. Her gaze drifted back to Mia. "Looks like the wannabe needs to clean up," Mia called out loud enough for the crowd to hear. Her voice dripped with mockery, but Rachel caught the hint of unease behind it. Maybe Mia wasn't as secure as she pretended to be. "Enough, Mia," Rachel shouted, surprising herself. "This isn't about you. This is about," she paused, realizing she had to reclaim her voice. "This is about all of us. About moving past our insecurities. I won't play your games anymore." The crowd quieted as Rachel held her ground. Nathan looked up, uncertainty flickering in his eyes, and for a moment, she felt alone in her battle. But another glance through the gathering confirmed what she hoped to see. Some faces turned to support her, nodding subtly, whispering encouragements. "I know it's hard to accept change," Rachel continued, breathing deeply, channeling the surplus of emotions flooding through her. "We've all been through stuff. I'm not the only one who has made mistakes, but I believe we all have the power to evolve." Mia's face contorted as if Rachel was speaking a foreign language, struggling to comprehend the shifting tides around her. "And you think that's enough? Just words?" She huffed, arms crossing defiantly. "It's a start, isn't it?" Rachel challenged. "It's easy to tear someone down. But can you build someone up, Mia? Can we build each other up?" She stepped forward, feeling a flicker of hope igniting inside her chest. "This was never just about me. It's about making connections, embracing who we are, flaws and all. Even you can admit that being vulnerable isn't a weakness. It's a strength actually." Mia's silence spoke volumes as she narrowed her eyes, searching for a crack in Rachel's newfound determination. Rachel felt the air shift. It was as if she had taken hold of the room, rallying those around her, flipping the narrative. And then, unexpectedly, Mia's mask began to slip. "You think you can just waltz back in here like you own the place?" She challenged, the bravado fading. "You think everyone will forgive you just because you're real now?" But it wasn't just Mia's words that hung in the air. The crowd was waiting. They were tired of the drama. Rachel pressed on. "Maybe they will, and maybe they won't. But at least I'm trying. What are you doing?" There was a murmur through the room as Rachel's challenge ignited a flicker of defiance in others. People straightened up, whispering things to one another. Maybe they were ready for a change, too. Moments felt like hours as she and Mia locked eyes, tension crackling between them. Suddenly, Mia turned away, her face a flush of anger and frustration. She stormed off towards the exit, leaving Rachel standing in stunned silence. The wave of relief washed over Rachel, but it felt unfinished, like a note that had been struck, but not resolved. Her heart was still racing, and while she had taken a step forward, she knew this battle was not yet over. In the clamor of voices around her, Nathan stood up, eyes locked on hers, eager to bridge the gap left by Mia's departure. A flicker of pride swelled in Rachel's chest, but it couldn't obscure the questions bubbling up inside. Had she truly won this round? What other obstacles lay in wait? As she looked around the room, she realized that this moment was just the beginning. And in the flurry of emotions, she whispered to herself, what next? The challenge had been issued, and now Rachel had to prepare for whatever came next. She could already feel a shift, but the path wasn't clear. Would she finally find her place among these people? Or would her past return to haunt her when she least expected it? Rachel took a deep breath as the echoes of Mia's departure faded. The air was thick with an unspoken tension, a mixture of relief and anticipation. She caught Nathan's eye, and a silent understanding passed between them. This was their moment, a fragile yet powerful turning point. "Hey," he said softly, inching closer. "You were incredible. I didn't know you had it in you." His smile was genuine, and for the first time in a long time, Rachel felt like she could bask in the warmth of his approval. "Thanks," she replied, trying to maintain her cool. But inside, a storm of uncertainties raged. But what if she comes back? The thought gnawed at her. Mia's words loomed like storm clouds, threatening to rain on her hard-fought victory. She will, Nathan said, his brow furrowing slightly. But you've shown everyone a different side of yourself tonight. People notice. He took a step back, still not breaking eye contact. They saw you stand up against her. That takes guts. Rachel let his words wash over her, feeling her resolve strengthen even as shadows danced at the edges of her mind. The crowd around them felt different. She noticed heads turning, whispers circulating. Was it admiration she sensed, or mere curiosity? It was hard to tell. Suddenly, Mia burst back into the room, not alone this time. She was flanked by several of her friends, their expressions a mix of surprise and disdain. Rachel's heart raced again, but this time, it was charged with something different: determination. What is going on? Mia drawled, her tone laced with malice. Did I leave my throne unguarded? The group snickered at her jab, tightening the knot of tension in Rachel's chest. Rachel stepped forward. You don't own this place, Mia. You don't define us either. The words shot from her lips with unexpected ferocity, as if they'd been waiting for this precise moment to break free. Mia rolled her eyes, mounting her defenses. Please, you think you're the hero now? That you can come in here and make everyone forget who you are? Her friends laughed, but this time, the sound seemed less loud, a sign the tide was turning, perhaps. I don't expect anyone to forget, but I'm willing to change. Are you? Rachel responded, her voice steady now, embedding conviction in every syllable. There was something liberating about confronting Mia rather than shrinking away. Suddenly, the air shifted again. A few people from the crowd started muttering in support of Rachel, bolstered by her challenge. It seemed they, too, were over the constant drama and wanted something different. Is this what you really want? One of them shouted, growing bolder. To keep tearing each other down? We're here to have a good time. Mia's facade began to crack, her bravado shifting away. Rachel felt it. The fight was fading in Mia's eyes, replaced with uncertainty once again. You'll regret this, Rachel. You think forgiveness comes easy? Forgiveness takes time. But I'm ready to start, Rachel said, not backing down. What about you, Mia? Are you only here to cause chaos? Mia opened her mouth but closed it just as fast, hesitating for the first time. Rachel pressed forward, the growing momentum empowering her as she gestured around the room. We all have our baggage. But standing around hating each other isn't going to help us overcome it. Let us be better. The challenge hung palpably in the air. The murmurs of solidarity grew louder, and Nathan squeezed Rachel's hand, an anchor amidst the chaos. Rachel's heart raced not with fear, but with hope. But just as the crowd seemed to tip in Rachel's favor, a shrill voice interrupted the moment. What a touching little bonding session. But really, Rachel? Still playing the victim? It was Sarah, another one of Mia's allies, her words laced with venom. The shift jolted Rachel's heart, more turmoil threatening to unravel everything she had just fought for. Were they really going to drag her back into the depths she had worked so hard to escape? Don't let them get to you, Nathan whispered, his voice grounding as the storm brewed once more. But Rachel knew she had to face this, had to push through the thick fog of her insecurities. What she wanted was within reach, but would they let her claim it? With the crowd watching closely, Rachel squared her shoulders, ready to face the truth of her past. You want the truth? She shouted back at Sarah, rallying the room for support once more, just as doubt threatened to creep back in. But there was one question left hanging in the air as she gathered her strength. How much deeper did this fight go? And would she be strong enough to confront not just Mia and her allies, but the ghosts of her past that still lingered? As Rachel prepared for the next round, the room pulsed with anticipation, and she felt the weight of what lay ahead. Just how much of herself would she need to give to finally be free? Rachel's heart pounded as she stared back at Sarah, her mind racing with thoughts. This was it, a chance to reclaim her voice and pave a path forward. The room had grown quiet, all eyes trained on her. Why do you think I'm a victim? She shot back, her voice steady though her heart pounded fiercely. Because I'm done playing by your rules? Because I refuse to let fear dictate my life any longer? The crowd tensed at her words, uncertainty flickering across many faces. Mia's friends exchanged glances, their confidence wavering. Rachel felt the whirlwind of emotions inside her: doubt, fear, and something new courage. Sarah smirked, trying to maintain her grip on the crowd. Little Rachel, all grown up. But do you honestly think you can change who you are? That people will just forget the past? Who I was doesn't define who I am now, Rachel replied, her voice rising. And if you can't see that, then maybe it's you who is stuck in the past. There was a ripple in the crowd, a mix of surprise and encouragement. Rachel watched as a few familiar faces nodded, the tension slowly shifting in her favor. This isn't just about me. She continued, emboldened by their support. We've all been hurt. We've all made mistakes. But it's about recognizing that we can choose to grow, to move on. Nathan beamed at her, a proud light in his eyes. She needed this, his belief fueling her conviction. She could feel the darkness that had shadowed her for so long beginning to lift. Look around, Rachel said, gesturing to the crowd, her voice imbued with sincerity. This is our community. We can either choose to tear each other down or build something beautiful together. I'm ready to heal. Are you? Silence enveloped the room, and uncertainty flickered on Mia's friends' faces. Rachel held her breath, wishing for something to break the tension. Slowly, someone in the back stepped forward. It was a girl from school, someone she hadn't talked to much but had always respected. You're right, Rachel. We're way too old for this, she said, her voice cutting through the stillness. Let us put the past behind us. An unexpected wave of murmurs washed through the crowd, and one by one, others began to voice their support. Yeah, let us stop fighting, shouted another voice. Rachel felt her chest swell. Could it be happening? Were they really starting to unite? But just as hope surged within her, Mia stepped back, regaining her confidence. You think this changes anything? She sneered. You're just making yourself look foolish. Rachel felt the burn at Mia's words, but instead of crumbling, she found a strength she hadn't known was there. I'm not going to be ashamed anymore, Mia. I'm owning my story. You should try it sometime. As the crowd began to respond with cheers, Rachel caught a glimpse of Nathan. His eyes sparkled with pride, and she felt invincible. But the air shifted once more, a new tension unfurling as Mia crossed her arms, her expression cold and calculating. Fine. You want to talk about our stories? Let us see how deep yours goes, Rachel. Everyone here knows what happened last summer. The words hung heavy in the air, and Rachel's breath caught in her throat. Last summer, a time that felt like a wound still very fresh. Was she ready to confront that? Suddenly, the atmosphere thickened again as Rachel sensed the crowd's gaze shift, their curiosity piqued. Would she have to lay bare her vulnerabilities to find peace? Could she trust them with her truth? As she prepared to speak, Rachel's heart raced. She had opened one door, but another loomed ahead, darker and more daunting. Would she be brave enough to face it? And what would happen when she did? Rachel stood at the center of the room, heart racing, surrounded by curious and uncertain faces. The murmurs faded into a hushed silence. Mia's sharp words lingered, but they no longer held the weight of fear. This was her moment, and she clutched it tightly. I'm not going to hide anymore, she started, her voice steady despite the storm within her. Last summer was a turning point. I faced something hard and raw, and it broke me in ways I never thought I could mend. I lost my job, and with it, a part of my identity. But it also pushed me to fight for something greater, something real. The crowd listened closely, their expressions shifting from disbelief to understanding. She glanced at Nathan, standing strong among them, encouraging from the sidelines. His unwavering faith in her transformed her fear into determination. I had to face myself and my choices. I realized those choices don't define my worth. I've been through struggles, yes, but I've come out stronger for it, Rachel continued, her heart swelling with newfound confidence. I'm not ashamed of my past. It made me who I am today, a survivor, a mother, a woman who will fight for her dreams no matter the obstacles. A soft murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. The faces around her started to soften, curiosity giving way to empathy. Seeing this began to fuel her courage even more. But you know what? She looked directly at Mia, a fierce spark igniting in her chest. I'm not here to tear you down, either. I want to extend my hand in the spirit of change. If we let our past define us, we'll never move forward. Let us rise together rather than pulling each other down. Mia's expression faltered, the hardness beginning to wane under the weight of Rachel's truth. You want to rise with me? After everything? She asked, the challenge faltering in her voice. Yes, Rachel replied, feeling a shift in the room, a collective exhale as the energy transformed. We can choose to be better. I believe we all have the power to write our stories anew, one act of kindness at a time. It's never too late to change. The room buzzed with conversation, several attendees nodding in agreement. Nathan stepped forward, his presence radiating warmth. We're all in this together, Mia. Rachel S. right. Tearing each other apart only breeds pain. It's time to forgive, to support, to grow. Mia's friends exchanged looks of confusion, uncertainty creeping back into the room. But what if she messes up again? One of them asked hesitantly. Rachel met the gaze of each listener, her heart pounding but resolute. I might stumble. We all might. But growth isn't about perfection, it's about trying. So, if you're willing, I'll take those steps with you. Who else with me? Let us turn this moment into a new beginning. A wave of cheer erupted, voices rising in support. Rachel could feel her heart swell, the connection pulsating through the crowd. An unexpected alliance formed right there. This wasn't just her battle. It was theirs too, a shared journey. Together, several voices echoed, and Rachel beamed, feeling the warmth of community wrap around her like a cozy blanket. Seeing the change in Mia's expression fill Rachel with hope. There was something different about her reaction now. It softened, a hint of vulnerability peeking through. Maybe you're right, Mia said, her voice quieter, shadows in her eyes beginning to lift. Maybe we can all make this work. Let us start now, Rachel suggested, extending her hand, her heart open. Let us build something beautiful. After a few tense moments, Mia hesitated but then reached forward, gripping Rachel's hand. The crowd erupted in applause, while Rachel felt the weight of the past lighten. As laughter returned to the room, Rachel exchanged glances with Nathan, her unsaid worries falling away like autumn leaves. You did it, he mouthed, pride shining in his eyes. And in that moment, as the music swelled and people cheered, Rachel realized that love and connection had the power to transcend even the deepest divides. She finally felt she belonged, ready to embrace every piece of her life. This was just the beginning of a new chapter, one rooted in vulnerability, understanding, and the commitment to rise together. Feelings flooded her: joy, relief, hope. She had taken flight, and there was no looking back. Now, if you're as inspired as Rachel to embrace change and transformation, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for more stories that resonate with your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let others feel the impact of this powerful journey. Comment below your reactions and feelings about Rachel's incredible transformation and what it means to you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait, not even one more second. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.